Hey math friends, welcome back. So what we're going to do today is we are going to find a new value when given a percent increase or decrease. So in a previous lesson, we worked on finding the percent of a whole amount, right? Or the percent of an original amount. Yesterday you worked on practicing finding tax or a tip or the percent that it changed or something like that. So now we're going to go a step further and we're going to find the new total after we find that change. So just to recap, let's make sure that we are remembering that proportion that we use. So we always write percent increase and decrease as a percent of the original, which we're going to talk about that in a second. And then we're going to use this proportion. Percent over 100 equals part over whole, is over of, new over original. I want you to be able to say that in your sleep. Like you're going to know that by the time we're done with this unit. Percent over 100 equals part over whole, is over of, or new over original for whatever thing you're talking about. So let's practice. So this first one, Ruth works a job where she gets paid $750 per week. Next year, her pay will be increasing by 12% of what it currently is. So let's look at A. How much will Ruth's pay increase? Show the calculations to find your answer. Let's circle, highlight, whatever you choose, the things that are important in this problem. It says Ruth works a job where she gets paid $750 per week. Now, is that our original or our new amount or our part or whole? Same concept. Well, 750 is the whole amount she gets paid. Great. And it also is the original amount because that's what she's going to be paid before it changes or before next year. So we can use the part over whole, or you can use the new over original. Now, we also need to add in, I'm going to say her original pay is $750. Cool. And it's increasing 12%. So I know it's going up 12%. So let me change my proportion here. And I'm going to now add in my values. I know that it's changing 12%, so I'm going to put 12 as my percent over 100. And we said our original or our whole amount is that 750. So I'm going to put that as my denominator on the right side. Now I can cross multiply to get 9,000 and then divide by 100 to get 90. So my dollar amount that her pay increases is $90. For B, what will Ruth's new weekly pay be after she receives the increase? Let's check it out. So, if she originally makes $750 and it increases $90, she's going to make $840 per week. Hope that makes sense. So we did our proportion here to find what 12% was of the total, and then we had to find how much it actually changed or the actual increase. So her new pay is going to be $840. So now we're going to put all that together for one problem instead of doing two separate things. So let's look at A here. Linden Middle School has 480 students. The number of students is increasing by 5% next year. How many students will there be? Well, we know we're going to write a proportion. Percent over 100 is equal to part over whole or new over original. And let's write down what we know. We have 480 students. That is the original amount. And it is increasing 5%. And we want to know how many students there will be next year. So let's do what we did before. We have percent, 5% over 100. Our original or our whole is 480. And we found our part or our new value. So when we do this, we do 5 times 480 and we get 2,400. And then we divide by 100 to get 24. So 24 is what? That's the question here. So is 24 how many students there's going to be next year? No, that doesn't make sense. 24 is the increase in students as a student number versus a percent. So it's 5% increase, but it's 24 actual students that it increases. So now we have to take it a step further. We have to do the original plus the 24 to get 504. Okay? So that now is our total. 504 is how many students we will have next year at Linden Middle School. I want to show you a different way to do this. Preference, it's either way, but I think it's a tad bit easier. So if I know that my increase is 5%, yesterday and the day before, we worked on writing percent as the new amount as a percent of the original. So if I know that the original is always 100% and it is increasing 5%, I can add 5 to that and get 105%. That's my new percent. So if I use 105% instead of 5, I'm going to come out with 540. So if I do 480 times 105 and then divide by 100, I'm going to get, it's going to be a big number, but it would be 50,400. Divide that by 100, and I'd get 504. Now, the difference here is that we are using the 5% here to find our part, and then we're adding to get our new amount, rather than in the lighter blue, we're using the new percent of the original to find our value. Whichever one makes sense to you, please use that one. But I want to offer you two different options. So you can find the smaller amount and then add, or you can add the percent and then find your amount there. Okay? So let's do another practice here. And feel free to pause this as you need to look at this or to write down these examples. For B, the price of a sweater is marked 14% off its original price. If its original price is $85, what is the sale price? So 14% off, that's important. Does that mean it's a decrease or an increase? Well, when things are on sale, we know it's a decrease. So it's decreasing 14%. And it gives us the original price is $85. So we know our original is 85. So let's write our proportion here. Percent over 100, new over original. I'm going to go ahead this time and I'm going to take that 100% that is my original percent, and I'm going to take away 14 this time to give me 86. So now this is my new percent. So I'm going to put my percent 86 over 100. It's equal to, I don't know my new price yet, but I do know the original price was 85. So when I multiply those two, I do 86 times 85, I get 7,310. Now I divide that by 100, and that gives me 73.10. And in dollar amounts, that's $73.10. And you can't see that. So, there we go. All right. So we did 86 times 85, 7,310. Divide that by 100, $73.10. This is our sale price. So, let's try a few more. For exercise 4, it says Antonio makes $24 at his job. He is getting a raise of $3 per hour. Okay? Well, important thing here, he's making $24 per hour. That's his original pay. And it says behind my face, you can't see it, he's getting a raise of $3 per hour. Okay? So our proportion here, percent over 100 equals part over whole, or we can say new over original. And we want to know percent of the original salary. Okay, well, let's check it out. I do not know the percent here. So for the percent, I'm going to put a question mark or an X. I do know my new value or my part is $3. That's my amount that it's increasing in dollars. And I want to know the amount that it's increasing in percent. And my original is 24. So I can do 100 times 3 and then divide by 24. And I'm going to get 12.5. So it's increasing 12.5%. So it's an increase of 12.5%, which is the $3. Okay? But let's look at B here. It says Lacey's salary increased from $13 to $17 per hour. What percent did her salary increase? And round to the nearest tenth. Cool. So if it says round to the nearest tenth, I think I'm going to get some kind of weird decimal, and that is okay. It's not wrong if I get something weird. So Lacey's salary increased from $13 to $17. All right. So which one is the original and which one is the new? From 13 says the original. And then to 17, that means it's the new. Well, now when I write my proportion, percent over 100, I do not know my percent. So I'm going to put an X for the percent. And new over original, my new is 17, my original is 13. Okay, well, let's check it out. 100 times 17, 1700, divide that by 13, and we get 130.769 and a bunch of other numbers. And we want to round to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to round to this, whatever this value is, but remember we have to look at the second digit. Is that digit greater than or equal to 5? Yes, it is. So we're going to round up. So our answer is going to be 130.8. Okay, we're not done yet. Because 130.8, well, did Lacey's salary go up $13 plus some? No, it only went up a few dollars. So it's not increasing 130%. But we have our original percent. Let me erase some of this over here. Our original percent is 100, right? And we talked about that when we did percent of original. So if my original percent is 100, I'm going to add something, and I get my new percent, which was 130.8. Well, this is pretty easy because we have 100 plus something gives us 130.8. Clearly, we're adding 30.8. So, what percent did her salary increase? It increased 30.8% to give us 130.8. Okay? Rewatch this part again if it's confusing because it can be very confusing sometimes. And then what you're going to do is you're going to complete a practice. So this is just a very simple question. When calculating percent increase or decrease, the whole should always be what? Answer that for me. And then you have 3 practice questions. Now, yes, you can just choose an answer, but that doesn't tell me that you know it. I need to see your work for each problem so that I can help you, because tomorrow you're going to take a quiz on this, and I would love to give you feedback before your quiz. So, please, 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 always, and you know this, email me if you have questions. I'm glad to help you. I'll be happy to Zoom with you after school gets out at 2:20-ish when I'm done with Car Rider, and I'll be glad to help if you need me.